The next panel is going to explore the IoT disruption, challenges that corporates and startup face together. It is a Q&A session, so please join in as the panelists will be very happy to answer any of your questions. The panel will be moderated by Dr. Sonja Sulzmaier. Yay for another doctor. She's a managing partner, Innovation World Cup Series, and these guys are one of our prize givers to the startups, to the winning startups. In her panel, there will be Markus Vogt, who's the director of IoT healthcare segment, EBV Elektronik, Peter Dollfuss, who's a partner manager at Microtronics, and Natalie Megedyn, who's the director of business development and partnership from Indeema. So please tune in to this really interesting panel.
Welcome to our session. Welcome everyone to the 10th edition of the WOLF Summit and our session on IoT disruption, challenges that the corporates and also the startups face together. And we have I'm Sonja Sulzmaier. I am the managing partner of Navispace, the company behind the Innovation World Cup series, and I will guide you through this session. And please feel free to ask questions via the chat. The WOLF's team will then forward us your questions and we will then directly add them to our discussion. And we hope we are able to add and answer them during our discussion. We have now 40 minutes and we are here with 3 tech leaders who have supported hundreds of startups on their journey from ideation to functional prototype to also market launch and then sales, and one IoT startup who has also made it into the Innovation World Cup finals last year. So I want to introduce to them first Natalie. So Natalie Megedyn is the business development director of hi Natalie. She can also talk. She is responsible for business development and also the partnerships in Indeema, and she is 3 years with Indeema right now, and their solution Ubreeze was a finalist in the Innovation World Cup 19, and she is an industrial IoT expert and she holds a PhD and a master degree in business management. Our next speaker is Markus Vogt. You can see him. Yes, he says hello. So Markus is for more than 20 years. He is the director of the segment healthcare and personal devices of EBV Elektronik. And he is for more than 20 years, he is working for EBV Elektronik. EBV Elektronik is Europe's largest distributor for the semiconductor industry and is a subsidiary of Avnet. Markus and also here the FAE, so the field application engineers of EBV, have supported hundreds of startups and a lot of very famous ones, amongst them like Bragi or also Cosinus. And he holds a degree in electrical engineering, but it's a long time ago because you're working now for EBV for more than 20 years, so in between Siemens and some other positions, but EBV is really your company. Peter Dollfuss, he is the partner manager at Microtronics, and for me, one of the most innovative companies in the IoT space, coming from Austria. They are also a former Innovation World Cup winner, and they have grown so much that they are now supporting a lot of startups on their journey, on their IoT journey. He is the partner manager. I already said it, and he has accompanied many IoT projects on the full product life cycle, like I said before, and he has a degree in electrical engineering. So this is the introduction, and now I want to very shortly introduce you to our Innovation World Cup series, because we are all somehow parts of the Innovation World Cup ecosystem, and we also want to invite you to become also part of the ecosystem. I will go to the presentation slides very shortly. Maybe you can see it on your screen. You can submit, if you have an IoT solution, you can submit your IoT solution at www.innovationworldcup.com to the IoT Innovation World Cup, and we connect you to tech market leaders, and you can win cash prizes and also prizes worth 500,000 US dollars overall, free development kits, and most importantly, a lot of support from the corporates we are working with. We have some tech challenges inside the IoT Innovation World Cup. That's, for example, the Rapid M2M challenge of Microtronics. Here you will then also supported by Peter, and the EBV IoT Hero. Here you will be supported also by Markus, who's in the discussion right now. And they also have, for the winner of the EBV IoT Hero, they have a 10,000 euro cash prize in place for the best European startup. Additionally, you can see other topics like healthcare, so the Healthcare Innovation World Cup, and also the Smart Construction Innovation World Cup, and further special prizes. More information is available on the website. I don't want to dive too deeply into this because we want to do our discussion. Here you can see some success stories of former contestants of the Innovation World Cup series. I have also picked a Polish one. Stetomi was the winner with their wireless stethoscope in 2018. They have grown now tremendously. We have made them visible in the world also via our programs. Then you can see Sigfox is one of the most famous former participants of the Innovation World Cup. We have connected them to their first major tech partner. And also you can see here a connected bike solution, a smart healthcare solution, some smart material solution of bond button. And that's what we mainly do, is connect the techpreneurs with the corporates and try to find a successful way on how they can work together. Now we want to start into our discussion, because you maybe want to get in contact also with the speakers of this round. You can find in the screen share, you can find all our emails. So Markus, Peter, and also Natalie email addresses are now on the screen. I will start with Natalie, with questions to Natalie. Wait a minute, I have to, here, I have them here. So your solution Indeema, no, it's not the solution Indeema, it's the solution uBreeze, to make it very,
yes.
make it
correct.
Indeema is the company, and you have a solution. It's called uBreeze. It's an air quality solution, and you also made it into the finals of the Innovation World Cup. Can you tell us more about your solution? And then we will also talk about what the main challenges were from ideation to market launch.
Yeah, of course. As you've mentioned, yeah, Indeema is a company. We provide just different IoT solution to our customers, like different companies. It wasn't the initial aim to create a startup, to put it to a mass market. The initial goal was to actually increase the productivity of our employees. And then later we noticed that it absolutely applies on mass market. So let's say the long story short, how it happened, when you have a meeting with a regular meeting, I mean project discussion on a daily basis in a small meeting room with 5, 8 to 10 people, and I'm usually so excited. I have 5 points in my agenda successfully. And reality says, no, they won't be, because in the 20 minutes, when 10 people are in a small room, everyone gets tired, sleepy, we are losing attention, and we are lucky if we discuss successfully 2 points of 5. I suppose every one of you at least a few times faced with that problem. So we decided to solve it because it normal increasing of CO2 level. On one hand, the solution is simple, you can open the window, but well, Sonja, do you really remember about it when you're focused on your work? You simply, well, I'm not, yeah, I don't remember, yeah. So we decided firstly to buy some device, but then we saw that our requirements are too high, yeah? So I'm lazy, I won't go every time to the device to check what is the air quality and what should I do with that, yeah? So I saw that we need a solution first that will have the application. It should notify me about the air quality, and it should connect to lots of devices, because we don't have one meeting room. We have to track the air in at least 10 meeting rooms, and we have to track it remotely. So the first challenge was to find the solution that has the application, notifies me and my colleagues, and works remotely. So actually, we didn't find such a product on the market. So since we have a team, we decided to build our own product. It was obvious. But there was a next challenge, actually. And here I would like to ask you a question, if you don't mind, Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
Well, imagine that you have the information about what is the temperature right now, what is the CO2 level, yeah, or the TVOC, kind of dangerous elements in the air. Is this information, do you think, is this information important?
Yeah, clear, it's important. So it's in working environments and also private environments. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I knew that your answer will be like that. What will you do with that information?
Maybe I would open the window, yeah, something like this. So
yeah, well,
try to find, maybe there's some...
Correct. And usually correct, it's like that. Well, your first answer was, yeah, and this is the most correct answer. In 99%, we will do nothing because we are focused on our work, even if we have such information. This is why there is a problem on the market. Even we have tons of devices that clarify our air, that track the air, we still do nothing. Remember in January, when every one of us, we knew about the situation in China, yeah, about the corona, sorry about mentioning about that, but we didn't react before we get stressed and we felt the danger. This is the same situation with the air. Before I physically feel myself uncomfortable, I don't react. Before I get hot, before the stressed in the middle of the day, tired, I don't react. So that's why we moved forward. We don't just put together different devices that control the air, monitor the air. But when you get the notification, Sonja, caution, the CO2 level is too high, please open the window. Probably you will react. Or the humidity level is too low, so it's dangerous, please turn on humidifier. So the aim is not only to control the air or to monitor the air. The aim is actually to connect air monitoring devices you breathe with existing air controlling monitor.
But let's say from this IoT journey from development to also market launch, what so what was the, let's say, the major challenge to overcome from development to, let's say, functional prototyping and at the end also market launch? If you would say this was really the most difficult task or hurdle to overcome in this IoT journey you had with your solution uBreeze?
Well, some challenges we face as a normal, regular startup company that that worked with hardware. We had such obvious and general challenges, like find a proper provider, component supplier. We had challenges and problems with time, their replacement, especially different certification of the device or the product in different particular country. But these are generic challenges. And I must say that Hubris, being an Indeema product, is lucky because we had a chance to avoid actually probably just on my mind, a few major challenges that early stage startup, small teams face with. The first one, the challenge, number one, is to focus on your core idea, on your core invention or a new technology, or whatever new knowledge or invention or idea you provide to a market, to your further users, to investors, yeah, not to jump too deeply. For example, if you are a hardware team, if you build cool devices, when you jump deeply in a software world because you need to represent this information, this data on a mobile application, a web application, whatever, right? So we were lucky because we built such teams for other customers. And we could use this experience and we could use previously learned lessons and build the particular, absolutely separate team, technical team for Hubris. The second challenge is to stay focused on business. What I mean, to meet investors, to talk to your potential partners, whatever, go to lots of conference. And we could pass this challenge because actually of the previous experience, because we had a team, and we just followed the process we usually follow with other customers. Yeah, the same start with R&D, the same start with the same process as we use with our customers. We used in Hubris when we were creating the specification, the project plan, the business plan, the first POC, the proof of concept. So we just use our experience, and we are lucky here. Yeah, but it's what I saw from my experience with other startups. These two things are major. Find a proper technical partner who will cover your needs in a knowledge or in an area of expertise that you are not that expert in, and actually stay focused on business and not jump and not drown in a daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Okay, understood. These are already your recommendations to other startups. So I think I would directly, I think it would be interesting to learn what the next steps for Hubris are. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next steps is, as I already even mentioned, that we already said actually at this step, the active providers of air control device heating systems. So this is the next step for Hubris, to cooperate with these corporates, to cooperate with these companies.
I'm not completely sure if we have all the points, but I think it's the cooperation with heating systems, because we had some problems with the connection. So also the others, can you not just that okay, then I will shortly summarize, let's say, the two major topics you have now identified. It's find component suppliers and a good technical partner, so is one important point, and stay focused on the business, and business means investors, partners, and so on. And your next steps with Hubris are now that you want to connect your solution to heating topics, right? So just that because we had some
to connect, to cooperate with providers that develop devices for controlling the air. It's not only the heating system, but it's air purifying, humidifiers, the devices that clean the air. Yeah. So the goal is to create what we are doing right now. It's not the goal in 10 years, right? But the goal is ambitious, but it's to create the ecosystem that connects UBreeze to existing devices on the market, to not reinvent the bicycle, but to connect the real world to future world.
Yeah. That's I think that's an interesting point, and I would summarize it as a third point that is really, really crucial for IoT startups is like setting up an ecosystem of partners in which you can also, let's say, connect your solution to other solutions, and this is also maybe the other solutions already have a sales channel, and you can maybe then also use these sales channels and be part of their, let's say, offering out there, and this is sometimes a very good, let's say, this is something you should look at from the very beginning. I think I will now turn to Peter, and so Peter, you have accompanied various IoT projects and the whole product lifecycle. And are the challenges Natalie has described to us, are they typical? Do you see additional ones with the startups you have accompanied, or yes? So what do you see as the main challenge for startups, and how do you offer also to cooperate? Or maybe just let's focus now on the main challenges you see, and if Natalie's are typical ones.
Yeah, so thank you to Natalie. It is perfect what you said, because that's the main topics we see as well. The biggest problem is, as you said, is that the company is losing the focus on the product because they focus on technical issues. And the problem, in fact, with IoT is that it is a combination of hardware, embedded software on the cloud side, process integration, so a lot of different disciplines which you have to combine. And the really critical thing with it is that you do not even know in the beginning with your project which topics you have to handle with. So it's in kind of increasing, creepy increase of the complexity. And it even becomes worse when you do the step from the laboratory to the customer, to the field, because then you're getting scaling effects. So then you're maybe getting to the limit of your framework, and that's what we see all the time, because the startups, they're starting with just a framework, a cheap one, for example. So, and then they're getting to the limit of this framework because they have to handle everything by themselves. And and then they are losing the focus on the application, and that's the worst thing, what can happen. At this point, normally they have lost a lot of time, money, and then they have to stop the project.
And what is exactly, if you look at the timeline, let's say from ideation to functional prototype, maybe to market launch, so what are, let's say, really crucial milestones you would say at this point? Yeah, so these are, when I look at the timeline, so these are the crucial points.
So I think the first milestone is, the most important milestone is the conception workshop, where you have to sit together with all your departments, members of the company, which are belonging to the project or included. And there you have to focus on your vision at one hand. On the other hand, you have to think about a concept of your proof of concept. And then I'm in the next step on the milestone. That's the proof of concept. If you have done the proof of concept, you have to prove what you want to prove. So it could be the technical functionality, this could be the usability, this could be the design, something like that. But use this situation to prove it on the field with the customer. And then I would say the next step is, as I already said, is to think about the scalability. Is it possible? Is the system able to scale? If not, then talk with partners. If if it's possible to scale, then think about, of course, industrialization issues. So as well is the battery, if it's a battery-driven device, for example. So from the usability side, is the battery, the runtime of the product, is it okay for the usability, such topics. And then, of course, the certification issues. So which kind of certifications do you need? Further on, testing to come forward to the phase of industrialization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think these are all big, let's say, big challenges, especially so let's say the certification topics. If you have any, maybe in the healthcare market, we will talk about this later also with Markus. Because you said the battery is an important topic. We also have a great partner in the Innovation World Cup, and you can meet them also during the now at the Wolf Summit. So Andreas Water is available for meetings, so you can check just the site information. And yeah, so I think this challenge. So from making a proof of concept ready for the mass market or for mass production, and the scalability is a big step for many IoT startups, and this is something you definitely or very often you need external tech partners that help you and advise you how to do this and support you there. Because I have I'm not sure if you were at the end after the scalability. Do you want to add additional points? And let's say if we look at the at the whole process.
So what comes then is then the process integration. So if you're done at the technical side, or if you're ready, then you have to think about what has to be done to include the product into the production cycle, for example. Because if you do the production, the system or the electronics, they have to be installed, they have to be commissioned to the right customer. This is one thing. Or another thing, which is belonging to the sales, for example. Normally, with such products, you have new business models, like product as a service. And with most of the companies, the sales cannot handle such models, and you have to have a training with them. Otherwise, they cannot sell it. So those topics are then really important to do not forget them. And that's another important point, is that's something you have to think already in the conception workshop. What is your business model? Because you have to have a new business model. How do you want to sell it? So those are all issues you have to handle. And we for example, with Microtronics, we have a framework which can handle all the technical topics. All the technical topics are already included in the framework. So if you're using that, you don't have to think about it, and we can help with such issues like the process integration, or how you can sell it, and such topics.
Mm-hmm. I know, I'm aware of your, let's say, also rapid M2M is a great solution to speed up the processes, because the usual timeline, what do you, let's say, from your experience, what's the usual timeline and an IoT product from, let's say, ideation to market launch has to, so what is, how many months or years do you usually see? I know there are complex and not so complex products. It's completely clear.
So when I think on the projects we did in the past, I think we had a really complex one we did with the Bergbahn and Zermatt, and we did it in half a year from the offer to the final product. But this was really hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah, you can do it in half a year, but you have to have good partners.
Okay, yeah, I would say, because I usually say also 2 and 3 years are normal. Yeah, so it sometimes takes a very long breath to really get from, let's say, a concept to the market launch for an IoT solution, because you are dependent also on external providers for the different components and so on. But sure, a partner can support you very well. So you have the Rapid M2M Challenge also in the Innovation Workup. Just maybe you can give an information about what solutions you're looking for with this Rapid M2M Challenge.
So what we're looking for is innovative IoT project ideas. So you register with your project idea, and you will get a base data, so development kit for free. And the entrance into the IoT suite world, that's the tooling I told before. And you will get as well exclusive support by us, so at the conception phase and with programming. So that's what you get with that. And with that tool, I think you will then really come forward really fast in your project.
Yes, I have seen some of the startups working with you, and it's really amazing, the solutions that are, and a very wide range of IoT solutions you can support here. So Markus, you are really, let's say, the expert for me, because we heard of Natalie before, that they are some of the IoT solutions that you need a very good tech partner for the different components, and some of the solutions. So I remember Stetomy, they have 200, so more than 200 components for a little wireless stethoscope, and that's really a huge challenge to after, let's say, maybe if you're within the phase of setting up a functional prototype, or if you want to get from the functional prototype to the mass product, you have to find the, let's say, the most suitable components to set up your solution. And can you tell us there how can a startup, let's say, select these components and manage also their bill of material?
Okay, so for sure the first point of information is for sure the internet. So startups, normally they have an idea, they go to the web, they draw a little block diagram, seek for the first blocks. Perhaps there's a reference design which is somehow similar to the solution they are preferring. So that's the first, let's say, stage. What I propose is, even at that stage, if you have the idea, if you think about the first blocks in your block diagram, get in contact with a company like EBV Elektronik, because we can provide you with the necessary information about roadmaps. Because currently what you see in the internet is a snapshot. It's a snapshot what you can buy everywhere. But in most of the cases, you don't get information about the devices. How old are they? How long are they in the market? Is there any chance that they get obsoleted? In which kind of end applications are they used? Because it's a big difference if you're a target for an industrial IoT product, which needs to be on the market 10 to 15 years, in the medical area even longer, other than to a pure consumer product like a smartphone, where you have a new generation every year. So my advice here is, if you talk about the first blocks, get in contact with companies like EBV Elektronik. We can help with our technical support center with different reference designs we have from our suppliers. We have also our own reference design for industrial IoT. We nowadays, as Sonja mentioned, we are part of the FNet Corporation worldwide. There is a worldwide initiative called FNet IoT, and we have a team inside this organization to support the European market.
Wonderful. So and when it comes to, because you just said also medical solutions, are there any? So what are, let's say, additional requirements IoT startups face in this area, besides, let's say, the components. So I think about medical regulation and so on.
First of all, medical certification takes time. You have to consider that in your overall project planning, because if you don't plan resources, time, and money for these certification phase, you end up in big trouble. On the other side, there are no devices, semiconductor devices, which are medical certified. That doesn't exist. That's a myth. Of course, you can rely on products which are automotive qualified because they have a higher quality level and a longer lifetime in the market. Again, talk with us. We can refer, for example, take a simple sensor. There are pressure sensors which are used in the automotive area. And a similar feature set of this pressure sensor can be a consumer part which is used in a smartphone. And then we need to talk about your expectation. If it's a medical product, for sure, don't take the consumer part, because then you're in big trouble after 2 years in the production cycle.
Mm-hmm. And I see. And what is, let's say, what's your experience? So or how do you select the startups you are working with? And a second question: what makes an IoT startup a successful one? So if you would describe, if you would think about the ones you have worked with.
Okay, so first of all, we don't have a real selection for IoT startups. First of all, we are a semiconductor distributor, so our goal is to sell semiconductors. That's our business model, for sure. So first of all, we need startups that are producing or developing hardware together with software. So here we can help. We can help them identify the right devices. We can help them with technical support on the device side. We have software packages nowadays in the cooperation with our mother company Avnet, and that's let's say the selection. Everybody can approach us, talk with us, and then we can find a solution. Either we can rely on partners we have a partner network in engineering. So if somebody needs engineering support, we have a partner network for prototyping, manufacturing, and then mass production facilities. So these are partner networks, so we can bring our customers, our startup customers, into contact with the right partners on the other side. A successful IoT startup. Okay, we can talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
What do you need?
We have 2 minutes left.
Okay, but you need to be a successful startup. So first of all, the right idea, the right moment, and the right time. Don't see the first idea as the best one, because currently in the situation what we have with the coronavirus, I get daily requests about, I want to invent a new respirator and ventilator to save the world.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Sorry to say that, but that's nonsense, because a medical device takes some time to get on the market.
Right.
But anyway, so we can help here. So idea at the moment, take us as a sparring partner to talk about your idea. Sometimes it's hard that I can tell you, okay, please consider this idea as nonsense. Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Then of course a highly motivated team. You need to have the skills, otherwise doesn't make sense. A solid funding and a solid planning, and for sure try to get the best partners in the industry. And a conference like this is the perfect place to find these guys.
Thank you, Markus. I think this was also a good summary. I'm not able now to summarize again because we have now 12:45, and we are at the end of our session. So I hope you have. I have not received any questions of the audience, but please feel free to contact us. You can find all our emails also on the screen share. And thank you for joining our session. I hope you have a wonderful Wolf Summit, and get in touch with us if you need support, because it will save a lot of time in your IoT journey. And we are looking forward to your submissions to the Innovation World Cup if you have a wonderful IoT solution. Also to the EBV IoT Hero and the Rapid M2M Challenge, because you two are at the moment here in the discussion. Thank you very much. And
Okay,
have a wonderful
bye,
Wolf
guys.
Summit. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.